All right. So, uh, perfect Monday recording timing. Hot
Kind
off
of
the
astonishing, really.
hot. It's piping hot off the presses
45 minutes
timing.
ago.
Elden Ring leaks dropping onto
Mmm.
Twitter, verified by
Delicious.
people, but also some people questioning it. But then I saw it was verified by like two people, so I guess it's real.
I, I'm gonna use my Photoshop eyes. Despite not being able to use Photoshops, I'm gonna use my Photoshop eyes, and I will say that looks pretty real.
Voiceover said that, "Hey, bro, you sure you want to look for the Elden Ring?" So I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, I guess I believe
yeah.
that." You
The
didn't
other part
hire
is
if
is
leakers start hiring people on Cameo,
oh man.
then we're in trouble. That's the real problem.
Well, actually, you know what it'd be like? Say you're like, John Leguizamo or whoever, right? And somebody's like, "Hey, can you read this?" And he's like, "This looks like a trailer line for something that doesn't exist." Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
you say that, but also this week was you got all the recessive genes, Snake.
I mean, that's true.
So Gilbert Gottfried was absolutely dropped into Liquid Snake's role through Cameo. You never know what's possible. If Smash Brothers guy, announcer guy, starts doing those,
Hmm.
fuck. Dante,
I
Gino.
that's so he is a voice actor who does a bunch of
I
other stuff. So
know.
that is
I
possible.
know.
That's upsetting. Look, I hacked it out of the files, and it's totally the Smash announcer going, Dante wins the pizza, or, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, straight up, like 45 minutes ago, right before we started the podcast, just log on to Twitter, and I saw Super Butterbuns going, should I look at that Elden Ring leak shit? And I went, what?
A bunch of people talking about it. Recorded on a Nokia handset.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Being
Nothing.
strained through a coffee grinder.
Mm-hmm. Deep
With a
fried.
baby in the background.
Deep fried meme quality.
Yeah, with like it's not. I don't think I've talked about it before, Wooly, and I don't remember if
Recorded
you
by
were into.
Hypercam.
I don't remember if you were into the Halo at the time, but the Halo 3 barn leak is the
Yeah.
all-time greatest.
Halo 3 Barn Leak is all time greatest. I always give love to the DMC5 reflection guy.
Oh
Uh,
man,
Barn Leak was pretty strong because that was
oh
like
it's so good.
for absolute security. Um, but there is a part of me that still has nostalgia for arcade cabinet fighting game shit footage over the
Hmm.
shoulder of a bunch of people doing a location test in Japan where it's like,
Yeah,
oh fuck, the newest KOF or the newest anything just dropped, and you just see
yeah.
a bunch of shit matches with like
It's far
shaky
away.
bullshit and you're trying to
Yeah.
squint at the sprites, but it was exciting because you're like, okay, something's coming this way and it's gonna look great.
You know
What I
what?
mm-hmm.
Man, do you remember the Street Fighter 4 test where they were like had dudes around that to stop you from recording it? So every piece of footage that came out of that location test was like sideways,
Mm-hmm.
like from some dude's pocket underneath
Mm-hmm.
the screen. Looked like complete garbage.
And if not for those fucking garbage phone angles, we would have no proof that Capcom fighting All Stars ever existed. The 3D one, right? That's the only existing proof of that game. We have a couple of renders and we have those static screenshots, but that footage is what shows us that they tried to do fatalities in a Capcom fighting game one time.
I don't remember if you saw these ones, but I remember watching because I'll watch any leak I can get my hands on, particularly if they're like behind closed doors demos. And one of the little like cherries on top of watching the leak that's just extra delicious is when the guy starts the recording super early and it includes the person demoing the thing going,
Oh,
"Don't record this.
yeah,
Put
yeah,
your
yeah.
phone away.
Yeah.
You're under, like, if you get caught, legal action. Put your phones away." And you see like the camera kind of shifts a little bit as they like kind of hide it
Uh-huh.
under their elbow or some shit. And it's just like, "Oh, you fucking asshole. Oh my god." Like there's the moment where you almost expect the person demoing it to like look straight at the camera,
Yeah.
but it
No,
never happens.
that person just doesn't give a fuck. Clout is more important than anything else, and they've made their decision, so they'll sleep in their bed.
I wish the best of luck to Mr. and Mrs. Elden Ring leaker, because the most prominent thing about the Elden Ring leak trailer is not any of the footage. It's not the quality of the footage. It's not that it's a year-old build or any of the features in the game. It's the fact that it is the only trailer I have ever seen in my life that is plastered with the brand Confidential on every inch of the screen.
There is that.
It is like dramatically plastered all over it. Do not leak this. Confidential.
Now, was the original account that leaked this named RR Marty Boy 420?
No. The first place that I saw it come up was like a Elden Ring website, YouTube page called Elden Ring News that was like counting down like 800 days of no news on Elden Ring.
Okay.
And shit like that.
Just Georgie George 2021 underscore. But no.
There's more. There's more. I'm literally watching more right now.
There's more dropping?
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, well then, yeah. All right.
So here's the thing.
so the takeaway that I can gather is you can ride a horse and you see some horse combat. That's the most notable thing of the trailer.
The takeaway is that what I had heard a long time ago as to what the hell this game is it's Dark Souls but open world.
Okay.
And it's very big.
I'm looking at the second group of footage, the second part of footage now.
Yeah.
So the first 30 seconds in that first teaser is like there's some stuff that looks pretty like not current gen, I should say. That skeleton shot, and then there's a rolling there's a couple moments of combat that I'm like, okay, this is super blurred ass footage, so it's hard to tell, but it doesn't look like it's like going for anything super far beyond what we've already seen in Dark Souls in terms of like just model and world asset quality. There's the moment where you see rolling from Dragonfire while whatchamacallit, the tracking soul spell things are around.
Homing soul crystal.
Yes, and homing soul mass, and then you kind of like you're like, okay, that is a staple. That's still there. You see a side roll, you see a parry, a riposte, you see a backstab. So it's like, yep, they're making sure that you see that all the staples are still there. I guess maybe I'm just like also thinking of how much Blue Point Demon Souls I've been staring at recently, but that thing is really
has something to do with it.
really gorgeous, and my brain is currently putting that as what as what I kind of hope to see the new series come out and approach, and it's definitely not there.
Sorry about that. I just had to wash my hands.
Not a problem. I'll keep stalling for time.
On his dick and then
The environments show you. We see some giants that look like the old rotted tree giants of the Dark Souls-ish world, although they also might be a little bit of like old one branch head thing sticking off of them.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's got a nice curved sword and shield for a moment, so sabers are doing what they do. A lot of familiarity. A lot of familiarity.
Do you remember when we were talking about the Demon Souls remake, and I was talking about the animation? It's like, oh man, the shaky cam on the stabs and stuff like that. Oh man, they're so incredible. and we started to laugh, like almost like fearfully about like, but what if the next game by FromSoft still looks jank like they always do?
Uh-huh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay, so there's something that Blue Point has really made obvious, I think, is when you go back to original FromSoft stuff, particularly I mean not as much Bloodborne, but particularly like Dark Souls 1 and 2. There's a lot of like bright searing orange.
Yeah, a lot.
Orange is a real favorite. And
To the point where like some areas are like visually painful.
Mm.
Like Izalith is out of control. That original lava effect is terrible.
Right. And so I kind of forgot that because Blue Point muted a bunch of that and kind of had a lot of like, you know, grays and cool tones and all sorts of things in those environments. And looking back at this blurry trailer, I'm like, oh, there's that FromSoft orange.
So
forgot about that.
I have a trailer that you should look at for context because it's been a long time since you watched it. Now you don't have to watch the whole thing. I'm just sending it to you so you can skim it for like 2 seconds. And that's we got a wild. So FromSoft leaks like a sieve, right? This is 3 games in a row that their shit got leaked out. So the first one was Bloodborne, and we had the Project Beasts trailer. Now, Woolie,
Yes.
I don't know how long it's been since you watched that trailer. I went and found it a couple minutes ago. Dude, that trailer looks like shit.
Does
like
it?
Oh yeah, look at it. It looks like shit. I literally did forget Sekiro. You guys are right.
Because that is the comparison. Bloodborne to Project Beasts.
Because
is a good way to
Project Beast was a like year-old build when it leaked, right? The build that we're looking at for Elden Ring right now is supposedly a year old. I have a suspicion. Let's call it a suspicion that COVID slowed this project down, and that's why it's been so long since we've seen it. But
right, okay. So I mean, the most notable thing about Project Beast going back was like frame rate, but I mean, it definitely tightened up from this to the final release. But like I would say that like it's not such a like insane jump that we can expect Elden Ring to come out and like, you know, suddenly be like blowing us away visually. I think you're kind of going to get FromSoft doing fine. And occasional moments of like super beauty, you know?
What I expect to happen is what happened with Witcher 2. And Witcher 3, basically. Witcher 2 and 3, like Witcher 3 has like nicer character models than Witcher 2, but it's not like night and day, right? The biggest difference between Witcher 2 and 3 is that you're like, wow, this area looks really nice. And then you would like walk through it, and then you would hit a load screen and it would be like a contained area. And then in Witcher 3, it'd be like, oh, this area looks really nice. And then if you chose to walk, you would walk for 10 kilometers. That's kind of what I expect out of an Elden Ring. I expect Sekiro, but the map just goes instead of having impassable cliffs everywhere.
Sekiro is their most, you know, recent like example of where they're at tech wise, and Elden Ring is built on last gen. You know, it's been coming for a while. So
I don't think that's true.
Really?
I think it's been a next gen game the whole time.
Has it been? Oh, if that's the case, then I was trying. Well,
I-
then I guess we can take away that extra little benefit then, because I was basically trying to, you know.
Oh no!
give-
Wait, no. You're saying I'm looking at platforms. This is PS4 and Xbox One.
Okay, well there you go. Yeah. So I guess it's we live in a world where the Demon Souls remake is right here, so the comparison is just right on the top of my brain, and I think that you still are gonna have probably moments in areas that are like that are gonna outdo anything we saw there. For example, Irithyll, as you know, is like is more gorgeous than anything in that entire remake.
Yeah, it's why we use a little animated 2D version of
Unbelievable.
it for our goddamn podcast.
Yeah, and Anor Londo, same energy, right? Like just unbelievable, really, really just firing on all cylinders there. And Kanehurst, I feel similarly about. There's some incredible moments that are like peak, but we have to see some close up footage of that. But like I think we're gonna otherwise get something that looks like it's gonna at the very least, if that trailer is last gen, then it'll look like it's like, well, that's about where last gen ended, know. And if we get a next gen trailer that like I don't know is somewhat up-resed, it'll just be a better, crisper version of those assets
currently
at better frame rates. But it is what it is.
Be up-resed.
Because
this footage is fucked. This is some fucky footage.
Now, all that aside about the aesthetics, because FromSoft, right? Gameplay wise, we can see that
it's a Souls game.
It's a Souls game. They're not even.
It's literally exactly what we all thought it was gonna be.
They're not even gonna like hint at like, oh no, we're going a little. It's like, nah, it's a Souls game, bro. You ride a horse, and there's horse combat now, so we'll see how elaborate that can get. But you see familiar spells, familiar weapons, and familiar mechanics. So that's about right.
It's kind of wild because you described like hitting all those bullet points. There's a boss that jumps straight up in the air and slams a sword on the ground and creates a giant dust explosion, and the character like kind of moves to the left out of it. You see homing crystal soul mass, and you see a variation of the fucking Farron Soul Blade thing from Dark Souls 3. Do you see like the buckler scimitar combo that a lot of the starting classes start with? The one big new one that wasn't the horse was sneaking.
Sneaking, yes, true. Crouching and slowly walking up behind something. I did see that, but I mean they're making what they were hired to make. George R.R. Martin is going to write the story, and otherwise, this is what it is. It's what's to be expected here.
We're getting closer. Every game is getting closer to Berserk. Have you noticed it? With the exception of Sekiro.
I mean, maybe we're seeing. Look, again, the giants they look like the same giants from fucking that world as I mentioned. There's that mage-looking character hanging out in what looks like Majula because of how fucking orange it is.
It's that. So they run that gamut from like light orange, which is almost yellow, all the way to like crispy burnt orange. It's a really good color to make things pop, especially if you have a sky. Right, because the sky will create a complementary color to your orange. That reminds me, this is a bit of a.
I think he's casting a blue spell.
Do you know why? Crash Bandicoot's orange?
Why?
Because the PS1 displays orange particularly well out of its color palette.
Great, love that. Love those stories about like why did this mascot turn out to be this way? Technical limitations or reasons. Mega Man, Sonic, Mario, all that shit where it's just like, yep, we went for that to display this at the best thing. That's always the good reason for it. Um, I I'm looking here. I see. Yeah, it looks like a giant. Um, actually no. There's two dragons here. There's a giant like whirlwind looking thing. Yeah.
Hey,
Uh,
hey guys, there's a dragon.
I hope.
There's a dragon.
I hope.
How long do you think it's gonna be before this fucking website gets? Sorry, this YouTube channel gets killed.
If it gets killed, that's an ultimate sign of super sure confirmation it's real, undoubtedly real. But like then again, like that'd be too much to fix. So at this point, there's way too much footage here.
I want to give the biggest shout out ever to this goddamn YouTube channel that is where it's all showing up. It's Elden Ring News, and I'm gonna link you to it, Wolves, because it is astonishing. This gentleman has uploaded a video every single day for 8 months.
Oh yeah, I've been following.
And it's literally day 102. The day's date. There is no news about Elden Ring, and they're all 20 seconds long. And like, and then the big ass leaks just blowing out from this one location. It's incredible. I love it.
I hope that the horseback riding combat is not just like one or two swings and then otherwise steer your horse car in the direction and road rash it. I hope that there's a little bit more going on with the horse.
It should have heavy and strong and light attack like your regular melee. And it should have a move set per weapon that is dependent on its type. Like I don't think having a move set on the horse for every single weapon in the game is viable, but at least like all curved swords will do this. All lances will do this.
Horseback archery, horseback dismounting attack, horseback boss fight.
There will like assuredly be a couple horseback boss fights, right?
Yeah,
like that is
the
most obvious thing in the world. There's a fourth leak. Hit us
mobility.
with it, losers. I can't wait until like somebody's like Elden Ring leak and I click on it and it's like that picture of Barack Obama with the huge cock.
Damn.
You know what's gonna happen.
The one you posted is just the mage doing stuff.
Yeah,
so,
it's just a start of a boss fight thing.
So you want to look for the video that is about a minute long, a minute and 6 seconds.
Yeah. It's actually funny because that version is a lower quality than the two separate leaks that then were later combined together. But that version is missing like 5 seconds.
Man, these are the days, huh? Like once upon a time, this is what it was. Just like squinting at shit footage, trying to parse what you're staring at. We're back to that.
I'm trying to see
We're
like
back to
the
that
house
era.
around the guy's monitor.
Sure. Sure.
Like, oh man.
Uh-oh, it's Filipino Champ's house.
Again! That's the just, oh my god.
Okay,
see it! You can see footage!
Right. Okay, here we go. Balance beams, jump button. Okay. That looked...
What are you looking at?
Another one. Another one. Opening some big fancy doors. Opening some big fancy doors. A jump off of a...
Send me this one. I
yeah.
It's
coming. A jump off of a balance beam. What do we got going on here?
They should
Torch in hand.
Probably put out a real trailer today.
You're kind of at this point, yeah.
Tweet's gone.
Yeah.
Already gone.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's still loaded on my thing. So here, let me. If I could record my screen.
Oh, they're super mad. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, big statue in a cavern, area of darkness that might be their like basin or rotten type area. Torch in hand. Not okay, torch in hand, how you feel about that?
Oh, I got somebody sent me the new one that you're watching.
Okay. Torch in hand needs to be like easy and manageable. Don't make it a pain in the ass, please.
Oh, that is totally a jump button. You're right.
It looks like it, right?
Well, because he's not sprinting.
He's not sprinting. It looks like a jump button.
Torch in hand, I can only see like being the same as it always is. Dude, this just looks like this literally looks like Dark Souls 1 and 2 and 3 mashed together. Like it almost feels like, like when people do like the Tale of Two Wastelands mod where they put Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas into one game. Right? And they're just like connected. This literally feels like, hey, we made 2 or 3 Dark Souls games, and then we put a Hyrule Field.
Well, wait for the data
put a
miners.
Hyrule Field in there.
Yeah, wait for the data miners to pull out some file names that are just like absolutely hard confirmation of Dark Souls 3 files.
They should. Okay, do you remember when Activision had Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, like literally every single thing about that game leaked out, and Kotaku published like what every single level in the game was and what the plot was and all the multiplayer weapons. Yeah, okay. It was crazy.
Okay.
It was the whole thing. And Activision went, "Oh, shit." And the next day they put out like 20 trailers.
Yes.
And did a bunch of interviews. And we're like, well,
that's what your marketing department is supposed to do. Yes.
But that was Activision.
You give it you go 24 hours, you put it all together and you go, all right, here we go. Hands was forced is what it is.
And then this is Bandai Namco.
I remember a conversation we were having perhaps a year or so ago about how weird is it going to be if you're going to be going around to towns that are living and populated and talking to people. And based on this footage, fuck no.
You're not!
This is still a dead world, as always. You're going to meet a couple people standing around here and there, and every one of them you will know by name.
It's really interesting. The From Software leak stuff is always crazy to me, because the more that I find out about Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 in particular, dude, like huge portions of those games hit the cutting room floor. Like bosses and areas and concepts. Like at Dark Souls 3, you were supposed to be able to make your own bonfires by dragging corpses to locations that you wanted to leave them at.
Right.
And like that's just gone. And those screenshots that came out that looked like the world being eaten by dragons and all that shit, and that fucking just straight up doesn't happen in the game. It's just gone.
So what are we gonna go with on the naming convention here? Hollow, undead, spirit form. We'll see. Whatever the lore reason is.
It's gonna be arm based. It's gonna be like hand or finger or something like that. Because the Elden Ring, the original trailer, the lady puts on a robot arm, and then the Elden Ring is being grasped by like 100 hands, almost like a Yoshikage thing.
Yeah. Ringless did come to mind, but I'm like, we don't know enough to know anything about what the actual ring is and does and all that shit. So we will have to see what the titular Elden Ring will actually be. If they just say it just lets you rule them all, then fucking then George is getting tired and old and needs to go to sleep.
Like feeling that. Like
if the Elden Ring just rules them all,
it's just
George might need a nap.
Yeah. Um. Man, I'm just like sprawling because there's all sorts of like it. Because I'm talking out my ass. This is all speculation, right? But like I'm looking at one of the trailers, and the iconography is like it feels like a big giant Super Dark Souls.
Yes.
Like the bridge type of locations and the architecture and the giant golden tree that reaches to the heavens and all that stuff. It looks like kind of like a greatest hits of different idealized portions
If
just mashed together in a big game.
if Miyazaki weren't like spiritually done with the franchise, you could see that being Dark Souls 4.
Yeah, totally.
You
Yeah,
could see
no.
them just going like, yeah, this is where we go next with it.
If they didn't end Dark Souls 3 the way it was, where Dark Souls 3 ends with like literally the entire universe crumbling into dust and going, it's done, LOL. I would look at this and go, oh, it's Dark Souls 4, right? But no, that series is over. Hopefully, actually.
Well, he did say that like it's done for him, but
yeah.
you know,
But he's
legally,
the only one making games there anymore.
I guess. But legally, they could do whatever they want.
Yeah, they could.
Well, that's
I
interesting.
wonder if the antagonist will just be Griffith. Wow, I'm looking at the fourth footage and it's wild. You can see the dude's taskbar.
Okay, so someone
can see
got access.
that he has like notifications that he hasn't checked out yet, and that he likes soccer. Because there's a soccer player on the wall.
Someone got
in the
access
background.
to an intranet. Or an
yeah,
FTP
this person is European.
Damn.
There we go.
Damn.
I can confirm it. Because there's a soccer man on the wall.
Track him down.
Who else?
Like Death Note. Find the exact city they're coming from. Yeah,
I imagine there's probably like a bunch of dudes over at Bandai Namco right now, like legitimately like digging through files and rosters and who got invited to what show and shit like that.
But what if the fact that Grimm is involved means that like there's also like his company side of things that has access to some otherwise some people that otherwise wouldn't be there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What if it's someone that doesn't give a fuck, that just is like, I'm on the book team?
It's always this thing where, I mean, you've worked in the I'm always been on the outside of the business, right? But you've actually worked in the business, and every single day that the thing exists, more people know about it, and it's only a matter of time before somebody actually decides to say something. I remember. After you.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I was making jokes earlier, but like, squint at that desktop and see if you don't see Winds of Winter version 5 doc.
Yeah. Yeah.
See if you don't see some shit sitting on that desktop.
I've talked with people before about
Season 8
leaks
shittalk.txt
and about how like they try and find leaks, and it's every time I've ever gotten to talk to somebody who works at a company that's gotten leaked, unless it's like straight up pulled off a server, like the Capcom shit, right? When it actually leaks out from an individual, it's literally always the same thing. It's like it happened right after we sent the information over to a different company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like say Bandai Namco and FromSoft, they had it all locked down tight. Mm-hmm. And then they sent this trailer or this build to show to somebody at Microsoft or Sony, and then that company just like they put it on some fucking server and they don't hide it.
Exactly.
And some intern just goes, "It's fucking mine, yeah."
Yeah, no. Every step away, you know, has a further and further security risk, and I remember a big part of what like the places I worked had to advertise was their secure labs, and was there like the only people that will ever lay eyes on this have to sign in on a sign-in sheet. You know, everything is tracked. Yeah. Everything is handed back at the end of the day, and absolute.
And we
control
will
of exposure.
assassinate leakers.
You know, so and like the bigger projects, they would like move you to like there's secure labs that are like there's open labs that are just, you know, same big room, and then there was parts where it's like no, you cannot even walk down that hallway cuz the client is fucking Blizzard, you know? And shit like that. So yeah, but anyway, you know, we'll see what happens to this, but if the Paul marketing's doing his job, they will just get their shit together and head it off at the pass.
So I'm not sure where this part came from, but it seems to be floating around the leaks themselves, which is the idea that the actual reveal is planned for sometime this month.
I mean, any time would be good. Anything would be good.
It would be nice if they just had it sitting unlisted on YouTube and like the real version of the trailer. And then they were like, boop. Okay, you got us.
I mean, we'll have to again, we'll see up close once we get a chance, but you know, at least it's not a case of like show shit too early and then like fucking nothing. This has been a forever game, but you know, at least we can see that there's some shit there that you know is running.
I want to play it though. I'm not allowed to. It's not out. Oh.
I want to play it so bad that I've basically been going through every other Souls-like on my PS5 recently. It just is scratching that itch. You know,
fuck it.
I beat Das, and then you know, Reggie just finished it as well, actually. So I'll take the week there. And then I'm fucking like going through Neo, and I'm just looking back and I'm reinstalling Bloodborne, and I'm just like, yeah, I got that feel. I got that vibe. I want to, you know,
and on a realistic basis, like the fact that they're taking so long on Elden Ring is promising, because like every single Souls game has come out with like major parts rushed. Demon Souls never got the goddamn fifth Archstone. Parts of Dark Souls 1 are like laughably unfinished. Although, like the Bed of Chaos area, you can just see like the gray box if you look at it from certain angles.
The fifth Archstone,
Bloodborne had all that cut shit. Like
the or fourth Archstone is now, though, if it let's say it ever came to exist somehow, they went like, hey, Blue Point, go nuts, make some DLC, right, or whatever the fuck. They would have to compete with the VatiVidya contest where people submitted their own ideas, and some of the winners were so fucking good that all you could do is compare it to that now.
Well, the other thing is that like if they went and grabbed the concept art or whatever from that and implemented it, you'd be like, oh, turns out the land of the frost giants was actually Canehurst with the really tall enemies from the Cathedral Ward.
Sure.
Because whenever they don't finish an idea and it never gets in, they just transplant it one game forward.
Yeah. It definitely is like a vibe that comes around every couple years of like, you want to play some Souls right now. You want to get in there. I don't know what the online is going to be. I assume it'll be the exact same it's always been. I don't know what else they'll do to it, but I assume you're going to get the same level of online you've always gotten. Jolly cooperation, invasions, horseback invasions.
It would be really weird if it was an open world game and it still had the same like joining system, because I can just imagine like you hanging out in an empty forest and going to pee and then coming back and being stabbed.
Kurt Cobain
somebody ran up on you with their horse.
Kurt Cobain has invaded somewhere on this open world map. Good luck.
I mean, they haven't said that there'd be. They haven't said much about the game at all. It might not have any online at all, or it might just have regular ass co-op. Just regular old co-op.
Maybe.
I doubt that very much. I think it's much more likely that it would just have nothing, like Sekiro.
I imagine it. I imagine it'll have bare minimum the same level of previous Souls games. Bare minimum.
Yeah, except it isn't a Souls game, right?
Yeah, but remember that's also a difficulty regulator, right?
It is.
Cooperation is actually a difficulty setting for the games. So
I gotta say, I'm aware that there are folks that are like, oh, it's just Souls open world, and that's kind of a bummer to them. But like, Dark Souls 1 is my favorite for the simple reason that it nailed the interconnected location the best, going all the way up from the top of like Firelink to Light Town into the Ash Lake, right? That's the coolest. And like seeing locations off in the distance and like bullshitting your way over to them, it like, even though Dark Souls 1 mechanically is like not nearly as interesting as its sequels, like that level design is incredible.
Yeah, Firelink able to make branching off in like 4 or 5 directions, and expanding that into like a really like I'm thinking of Zelda and seeing Death Mountain in the distance, but instead of Death Mountain, it sends Fortress. You know, like, yeah, fuck, yeah, I want that. Thinking about,
I want to be riding along in a field and hit the edge of a swamp and have a too aggressive green color filter go over the screen to let me know that the swamp is poison.
Sure.
Do you remember walking into Blighttown and the game's whole color grading?
It just dies.
The instant you walk through that door.
The other thing too is like riding your horse across a zone and like just getting like multiple title drops as you ride in and out and into the next zone past
it. Yeah.
Blah, 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 you know. So I mean, some of these areas, if you know, even if your horse has stamina, some of these areas are, you know, not necessarily meant to be like fucking horseback speed.
I hope your horse is gonna be okay.
I hope so.
'Cause like, this is a violent games they make.
What if it gets hurt? Maybe you get knocked off of it, then you walk up to it, pet it, and then stab it and take its power into your blade. Like the Nameless King.
Alternatively, you could just not have a horse. It's just grab a horse from dudes. Or the horse could be a skeleton. What if your horse was a skeleton?
Tsushima has given you a horse, but also lets you grab a horse.
Oh man, somebody in the chat just asked like the best question. Is open world, like a proper open world game with absolutely no map, a good idea?
There will be a map.
And I have to say the answer is yes.
There will be a map for sure.
No.
There will be a map, but it won't be a helpful map. There will be a map, but
it'll be like a piece of parchment that is just like
with dots on it.
Location.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll a piece of parchment with dots and the shape of the trace of the island, and that's it.
Yeah. And it doesn't show you where you are.
Oh.
It only shows landmarks.
Oh man. Oh,
people are correctly pointing out that Sekiro did have a map, which I forget using, honestly.
Fuck that. Fuck that. I mean, it did. It did. Yeah, Sekiro did have.
Oh yeah, Sekiro's map was terrible.
It was just a screenshot of the whole zone of the whole area.
Oh yeah,
with a bunch of dots
it
on it.
Worthless. It
Mhm,
was just
mhm.
a picture.
Just make one of those side scroller arcadey maps like Ghouls and Ghosts, where it's just a bunch of the fucking zones attached together in vaguely similar form.
Oh man, I literally forgot Sekiro had a map, and the reason is because it is literally just a painting with fucking labels slapped on it.
I mean, look, they could do it. They could just go all in on fuck you, learn the whole world. But it's like,
Oh, that'd be so cool.
but like, okay, I have all of Demon Souls map in my brain right now because it's current.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have portions of Dark Souls maps 1, 2, and 3 in my head.
Yeah.
But boy, is there like 40% clutter in there. You know? Like Death 2 and Death. I keep saying Death. Shit. Dark Souls 2. Like I can tell you where Majula goes to Hades Tower or backwards to the fucking Forest of Giants and you know how all those like linear pathways go, but then you're like, wait, but what about where was that again? And like it's not going to stick around. And if the open world ends up being like 5 times the size of any of those things, we're all just going to die. You say it's cool, but we're going to die.
There is a way to do it, and that is to provide landmarks. If you provide a map in which you can almost always see at least one landmark from every location, and in many locations you can see 2 landmarks, that's good. That's fine.
And if you're teleporting to bonfires with pictures of said landmark, then sure.
I want bonfires to cost money. I want it to be, okay, Wooly, you never played Dragon's Dogma. And in Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, they massively, massively curtailed it. But in the original Dragon's Dogma, you could teleport to one area, and it was the main city, and that's it. And one of the final upgrades at the very end of the game was that you unlocked a teleport stone you could put in one place. And that was it. And the fairy stone cost a shit ton of money. It was super expensive.
That doesn't sound fun.
It was fucking awesome.
That doesn't
good.
No, that doesn't sound fun to me. That
Okay,
sounds unfun.
Let me explain why it was fun, all right? Because the night and day system made it so that when you traveled from Grand Soren up to the tower in the upper right corner of the map, it would take you about half an hour, and you had to make decent progress and actually do it well, because if you took too long, it would become nighttime, and all the fucking undead and badass monsters would come out.
Okay, but the 15th time that I'm doing it, where I'm just going back to collect some bullshit, I don't care anymore.
Plan your trips.
Yeah, no. I've proved that I can do it. I know the thing. It's fine. This is just rote busy work. This sucks. That doesn't sound fun at all. There's a number of times you can put that in place to have them prove whatever, but it's like at a certain point, like, well then fuck you then, you know? Or I guess it's just don't get the collectible. Maybe that's the answer. Just get whatever you need to get while you're there and then get the fuck out.
Dogma rules. You guys are dumb.
Maybe.
Dragon's Dogma.
Maybe. Hard to say. But I haven't played the game, so I don't know. But just the way you're describing it, if I'm thinking about the number of times I have to backtrack places to do things, to collect things, to talk to people, to do side quests, etc., as I would expect of one of these games.
Oh, the main thing is that in Dragon's Dogma, you didn't actually backtrack that often. You would make long trips out to areas, and a long trip would be a long trip because you could not fast travel, and then you would come back, and then you would make a long trip to a different area. Dark Arisen, the re-release, they just gave you more of those teleport stones you could leave all over, and then they just gave you a fairy stone that was infinite, so you could fast travel like normal. And it was for pussies.
And how often did
You're all cowards.
How often did you have to do the same half-hour trek?
The same half-hour trek? Up to the tower, you do it literally once. Up to the upper left of the map, you do it maybe twice, depending if you explore it out there. To the bottom left of the map with the ogres, maybe twice. Depends how much you explored. Like you're doing them one. If you're not exploring and you're just going where the game is telling you, once.
Okay.
Maybe twice.
I can't tell you till I actually try it, but what you're describing on paper sounds awful.
Dragon's Dogma was so good.
Yep. No. I hear it's good. I just, but that mechanic, the way of doing that, it's like, yeah, you can make things not a pain in the ass for people. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. That game's super good, though. I hope they make a sequel to Dragon's Dogma. That would be rad.
Is the journey fun? I mean,
it's a blast.
Riding my horse through.
No horse.
Okay, no. But I'm just saying that there are times when I was playing Tsushima and I was like, I want to take the long road to that spot instead of teleporting because I enjoy the trek. Or, Death Stranding, where you build your road and then you just full on, teamster.
Or alternatively, you're like, I need to put a zip line up on top of that mountain peak, and god damn it, it is a pain in the ass to get up there, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and then you enjoy your ziplining routes afterwards. So, if the pathway to doing what you're describing, if the journey is fun, then that makes a huge difference.
It's like the Dragon's Dogma. It's like Dark Souls made by Devil May Cry people. It's so good. It's so much fun. Traveling through that game and it getting dark is like legit one of the best parts of any game I've ever played. And the fact that a lot of people didn't get to experience it because they could just fast travel everywhere is legitimately depressing. Because when you're able to fast travel all over the place, there's no situations in which you can get caught out at dark. And it's the only console game made by a large publisher that has real nighttime. You like you have a torch and you cannot see past the edge of your torch, period. Like it is pitch.
I was gonna say
fucking terrifying.
I was gonna say, what you mean real nighttime? You're just gonna shit on Pokemon like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna shit on Pokemon like that.
Yeah.
Get ready.
All right. Well.